I think this game is all about who gets to 20. This game is 100% all about if the Browns can get to 20 for the second week in a row, which is sad because most teams are averaging like 23 points a game. But if the Browns can get to 20, that means that their offense would have held on to the ball enough or the defense would have scored for the offense, and that I think the Browns can go back and look at the Patriots' last two losses. Their last two losses came in games where they didn't score 20 points. In fact, they lost to what was the first one they lost? They lost to the Raiders 20-13 week 1, and then they lost to the Steelers 21-14. And, in the games they won, 33, 42, 23, 25, 31. So when New England busts over 20 points, you're in trouble. But if the defense can hang on to them and keep them under 20, the Browns have a great opportunity to win. Can the Browns put something together on offense to be able to win? And I think Pittsburgh figured it out that if you can control Quinshon Judkins against, I don't know, are we going to see our 8th different offensive line set up in 8 weeks?
Sounding like Jack Conklin is on the way back.
All right, so maybe for the second time in a row, we may have a starting 5 that we've seen before this year. It's brutal. It's brutal. I don't know what you can ask for, but my question is, do you think that they can handle Judkins? And here's the offense for us. Let's be honest. You're not getting anything from your wide receivers. If you do, it feels like it's bonus time. So can the Browns sustain an offense with Harold Fannin Jr. and David Njoku and Quinshon Judkins? If they can do that, they will have an opportunity. And how many points is that going to get you? That smells like under 20 when you got to rely on your tight ends and your running back. One running back in particular. And if I'm New England, I'm just going back and watching the Pittsburgh film on Judkins. And by the way, I love Judkins. You know this. I've said it since day one. Super excited he's on the team. Half of his yards last week came on one carry. It was an awesome carry.
It's a lot of fun.
It was amazing. But again, are we overestimating what we saw last week? Because even Miami contained him for a good portion of the game. Again, they couldn't. If they don't let up that one big run, it's a different story. And I'm not trying to Butch Davis's thing, but it's true.
Do you think the Browns stumbled into something in the run game against Miami?
In our running game?
Correct.
I think we saw Judkins be able to do what he can do. I mean, he might only get you 2 or 3 yards. The thing about it was Kevin didn't give up on it. Mm-hmm. That was the difference last week. Unlike the week before where Gabriel's throwing, 52 times?
Yeah.
Man, if he's throwing 52 times...
You got problems.
And 52 times, and you have one play over 20 yards? Mm-hmm. Because the receiver, it was Fannin, I think, had a catch probably in the 10 to 15-yard range, and then dragged 3 defenders, to make it a 20-yard gain. That formula is not winning this week. That they've got to be able to establish something. But I love the fact that they went to the run and believed in the run enough that they could sit through a couple of these, 2-yard gain, 3-yard gain, 2-yard gain, boom, 40-plus yard run. That's where it is. We have not seen big that is it. Isn't that the defining moment for a big explosive play for the Browns? One run all season?
We've been screaming for 20-yard plays. You got to find
something more than that.
20-plus yard plays. We've been screaming for it from anywhere. I think they may have stumbled into something during this Dolphins game.
Tell me what you saw.
Well, this is going to sound so bad, and it's going to get all the Stefanski haters all hot in a biscuit, which will be a good time. It seems like they went back to the old zone run scheme ideas that Kevin Stefanski came in with. It seems like they realized that they need to start pushing the pocket one direction, those one-cut runs, all of that kind of stuff that we could get into in serious nerd corner if you so desire. But that Kubiak, Shanahan, that style of running that took over, which is what you hired Kevin Stefanski to do, it felt like last week was the first time that we saw them actually get back to that. Start using the fact that their linemen are a little bit undersized, but they're fast, and start pulling guards and pulling the center and doing all of those different things that the Browns running offense was able to do. Goodness. From 2020 to 2022, in between there, where we all looked at this run game and went, man, this thing is cooking. And yeah, some of it is the fact that Nick Chubb is really, really good at what he does. But other part of it is the fact that the offensive line has opened up massive holes for Nick Chubb to do what he does. And I thought we saw that in the Miami game. And I wonder if they have stumbled. I don't know if stumbled is the right term, but I have wonder if that switch is flipped and they went, this is what we need to do. This needs to be our identity. This needs to be how we win games. We need to go back what everybody was screaming from the beginning, which is heavy play action, run the ball. And I think we saw some of that. Now, hopefully that comes with some shots down the field as well, but that's another argument for another segment.
I think they can win this week. I do. But again, it goes back to forcing turnovers, relying on the defense to set up the offense, not expecting more than 3 points when they get into the red zone. How about twice for the game, 3 times? Look, if you can get in the end zone 3 times against New England, I think they're going to win. I think they can win. Shootout is the last word I would use to describe this next game we're about to watch.
No.
Let's talk about Kevin Stefanski here for a second. He took some of the heat off, right? Last week by by beating Miami last week. And I kind of felt like we could all kind of take a little bit of a deep breath. If he can get a win this week, I think it changes some of the dynamic of what we're watching. Look, if you don't like Gabriel, you're not going to like Gabriel whether they win or lose on Sunday. If you want to see Shedeur Sanders, you're still going to want to see Shedeur Sanders no matter what next week. Oh, well, it's bye week, the week after, right? So I don't think you're going to change your mind, but I think the irritation factor changes when the Browns win. When the Browns lose, all anyone wants to do is pile on. Man, it's just pile on. Stefanski's the worst coach ever. Oh, my God, how did he get this job? Why does he have this job so long? How could he go through so many quarterbacks? This offense looks... I mean, like every negative positive thing, or every negative thing that you could ever say about him comes out when they lose.
And Shedeur Sanders conspiracy theories.
Oh, and that's true.
Don't forget those.
But this week has been very soft on that. Like, the folks that hate Stefanski have picked up the phone, and I know hate's a very strong word, have picked up the phone to let us know that they still don't like him and nothing has changed after last week. Mm-hmm. People who are in the middle are just like, okay, they won. We'll see what happens next. There are a lot of people that are saying, well, is Kevin a good coach? I mean, there are people that will say Kevin is a good coach. And if he goes somewhere else, he may become a great coach with more talent. And is he still have his job because it was ownership in the front office that messed up bringing Deshaun Watson in here? So they're willing to see what he does there. So, I mean, the storylines aren't going to change. It's the pressure on the Kevinometer, Stefanski meter, whatever you want to call it. That's what will change this week to a degree. If you're hardcore right, hardcore left on this, whatever, I'm just using the political term, I don't think you're changing. But if they win and you're in the middle and then all of a sudden Green Bay beats Pittsburgh and you're looking at the standings and you're going, Baskin sounded like an idiot last week when he said the standings were going to bunch up if Green Bay can beat Pittsburgh this weekend. I'm not. I'm just telling you that's the reality of what happens. Do I think the Browns are a playoff team right now? I think our defense is playoff worthy. Our offense isn't even in the same stratosphere as the rest of the NFL most weeks. So, no, I don't think they're a playoff team right now. But it does make it super interesting to look at the AFC North and say, this isn't our typical AFC North. Look at all the quarterbacks that are hurt that aren't playing. Man, this would be... Imagine if we had one more wide receiver or a healthy offensive line. I wonder what this team would look like. I wonder what place they would be in. I know a lot of people just want to hit the fast forward button. Dan, you're included in this. Mm-hmm. And just go, well, the only reason we made that trade in the draft is because we're worried about the quarterback for next year. There's no guarantee on a quarterback for next year. So just go play football. Try to win. Don't try to lose. Don't feel good about a loss because it gets you closer to the draft pick. Not in week mechanism. 8. Not in week 8.
It's a coping
Please
mechanism. Stop. I mean, that's all that is it's just cope.
Was that what it is?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's how fans cope. It's like, wow, we lost. This sucks. I'm angry.
You've got a cope problem? Is that what you're saying?
Well, doesn't everyone?
Coping problem? Coping, yes, maybe.
Yeah. But like, yeah,
Cope and a smile? Sorry. Soft drink commercial?
I believe that ownership in the front office do not want to fire Kevin Stefanski.
I don't think they do either.
And I think that is the difference between the fan base and the people who are making the decisions. Is that I think they like the guy. I think they like what he brings to the table. Fan base is a different story. And so with that being the case, I don't think they want to fire him. But I think if this heads south and continues to be unwatchable, and let's say they lose by 20 to the Patriots, okay? I'm picking a number out of the sky. I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think this will be a very close game. But let's say it all gets nasty. If you're going to fire a coach, this is the week to fire a coach.
This game would have to go so sideways on Sunday for them to get fired. Something crazy would have to happen.
But the heat, and it wasn't just the heat coming from nowhere. Like, the heat was coming from places that have impact on what's taking place. The heat is coming from inside of that building, was going into that Dolphins game. And it's not like somebody just turns the stove off because they won a game, right? The stove doesn't get turned off. It gets turned down. So what happens? You could easily turn it right back up. And if they get railroaded, then I have a feeling we are all going to look at each other going, we're at about a boil. That kettle's about to start whistling. And if you're going to have a kettle that's whistling and you're going to make a move off of that, this is the week to do it with the bye week. So then that way you've got time to get that guy established inside of the building, get a game plan together, and put his changes in because he's got 2 weeks to do it. That's the only reason I have pause. Now, I don't think Andrew Berry and Jimmy Haslam and J.W. Johnson and Paul D. Podesta and anybody else who's involved in any kind of any kind of decision on the football side, Glenn Cook, Catherine Raish, whomever you want to point to, or Catherine Hickman, I should say, she's not married. I don't think they want to fire Kevin Stefanski, but I have a feeling the stove is still turned on. And at some point...
Well, you didn't get the gas shut off.
At some point, when the torches and the pitchforks start to show up, what do you do?
I got to pay my gas bill.
Good move. Pay your gas bill. You don't want that turned off. It's cold outside.
Forgot about that. Yeah, I think you're right.
Does that make sense?
I think you're right. Let's face it. I mean, the oven is on always when you're an NFL coach. I don't care who you are.